How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Schmoedown Central. I'm your host, Brad Thomas, breaking down the week that was in the movie trivia Schmoedown. A shorter week this week, as of course we had the finals for the Anarchy team tournament. Of course, the Harris brothers taking on Who's the Boss, who comes out on top there. We'll get to that in just a moment. And then also just a look ahead at the singles tournament and what's coming up next week. Again, shorter type of episode here, just kind of previewing that type of stuff. But let's get into that team final match, the 5-rounder between Who's the Boss and the Harris brothers. So Who's the Boss taking on the Harris brothers in the Anarchy final. The Harris brothers coming in with the 3-0 record, 1 knockout, while Who's the Boss coming in with the 3-0 record as well. Round number 1, Who's the Boss coming off to the hot start, a 2-point swing on question number 2, but the Harris brothers did battle back. Question number 4, they tie it back up, but again, Bateman getting that lead at question 6 and number 7 to go up by, again, a couple points there as they end up leading after round number 1 by a score of 10-8. Mark Reilly going 3 for 8, not his best round. Also Jonathan on the Harris side of things also going 3 for 8. Lon Harris going 5 for 8, but the story here in round number 1 was Bateman carrying Who's the Boss through this first round and going 7 for 8, only missing 1 question. An impressive round by him. Round number 2, the Harris brothers deciding to respin on the new releases, maybe a bad decision as they spin the category of scores and soundtracks to strength with Mark Reilly's, and they end up going 3 for 8, get a possible 5 out of 12 points. Did give up a couple 1-point steals, though. Question number 3 giving up a 1-point steal. Question number 5, another 1-point steal for Who's the Boss, and then question number 6, again another 1-point steal. Mark Reilly coming through here after not doing as great in round number 1, definitely knowing his stuff on these scores and soundtracks. This, of course, only making it a tie 13-13 midway through round number 2. Who's the Boss up to spin the category of Tom Cruise movies, decide to stick with that category and do damage in this round, going 6 for 6, getting a possible 12 out of 12 points. A perfect round number 2. First one we've seen get this perfect in quite some time. A very impressive round. Both members of Who's the Boss, Mark Reilly and Bateman, each pulling their weight here, no questions, back and forth. And again, 6 for 6, 12 out of 12 points. An impressive round 2, and now led by a score of 25-13. Round number 3, the betting round category was John Carpenter movies. Of course, John Carpenter could be a big strength of Mark Reilly, especially if he heads down that horror type genre. And the Harris brothers, they bet 3 points, unfortunately lose those 3 points. Who's the Boss? They bet 2 points, gaining those 2 points and winning it by a knockout in the third of 5 rounds. Didn't even have to go to the speed round. They win it by a score of 27-10. A very impressive victory by Who's the Boss. Moving on to play the Shirels at the Spectacular. With the victory, Who's the Boss improves to 4-0 with 1 knockout, while the Harris brothers now fall to 3-1 with 1 knockout. Who's the Boss going 17 for 23 for questions they were asked for 74%, a solid one on their part, especially if you add in those steals, it goes up even more. While the Harris brothers faltering here, not their best game, going 11 for 23 for 48%. Would hope they could have done a little bit better after showing some very impressive stats coming up to this point. Bateman leading the way, going 7 for 8 for 88%, while his partner Mark Reilly going 3 for 8 for 38%. Lon Harris going 5 for 8 for 63%, and Jonathan going 3 for 8 for 38%. So Who's the Boss moving on to the Spectacular and will play the Shirels for the team titles. Bateman, his first title shot ever, and of course going up against a rival in Rachel Cushing there, while Mark Reilly goes up against a former teammate in Clark Wolf, and of course Emma Fyffe and Finstock, the rivalry continues there. It will be a very exciting team title match. I'm very interested to see how this goes. Who's the Boss on a roll, the first team, to my knowledge, to ever knock out somebody in a 5-round match on that third round. There might be others. Let me know if you do know those stats in the comment section below, but again, regardless of the fact, it's very impressive to knock someone out in that third of 5 rounds. Impressive on Who's the Boss's part. Harris was just not playing their A game in this one. Maybe should have stuck with the new releases category, who knows exactly, but didn't work out for them. Of course, hopefully they come back because, again, they know each other so well, being brothers, of course, and just play well off one another. So we'll be interested to see if they do decide to come back in the Schmoedown. But again, moving now on to the singles tournament, let's get into what's going to happen next week and some of those first round matchups and how the bracket breaks down. So next week on the Move to Schmoedown, the tournament kicks off with a round 1 matchup of Mark Andrego taking on Drew McWeeny. 2 people who have yet to face off against one another, but 2 of the best ever in the singles division. This could very well be our next champion and potentially go up against John Roque at the Spectacular just based on this matchup here. 2 stellar competitors in the singles division. Again, the winner here can really do some damage in this tournament, and of course they'll be going up against somebody else, but that match will be happening the following week. But the other round 1 matchup coming from the other side of the bracket, it's Ethan Irwin taking on Chance Ellison. That'll be on Friday. Can the newcomer take out potential Rookie of the Year candidate Ethan Irwin? That'll be interesting to see. Of course, you have a wealth and depth of knowledge that Ethan Irwin has, of course, but the newcomer, the young kid, Chance Ellison, proving himself in Team Corruption in, of course, the Anarchy tournament. If he can say playing the way he did there and potentially take out one of the best that we have here in Ethan Irwin, again, a potential Rookie of the Year candidate, could be a very difficult chance for the person that they'll be going up against on that side of the bracket. Some of the other first round matchups we got is Clark Wolf taking on Ben Bateman. That match, of course, will be happening the following week. Clark Wolf has been out of action for quite some time. Can Ben Bateman continue his hot streak, ride that wave, 6-0 in total matches as of late there after joining Who's the Boss? A very impressive feat for him. Can he again ride that wave, take out Clark Wolf, and potentially could be a side of things to come for the team title match down the road. Clark Wolf, though, one of the best in the business. Can she again overcome Ben Bateman's hot streak and take him out and play the winner of Andraco and McWeeny? Then, of course, you also have Dan Murrell taking on Stacey Howard. I think Dan Murrell is the frontrunner here to beat Stacey, but Stacey has upset some big people in the past, including Mark Ellis in one of the team tournaments in previous years there. Of course, Mark Ellis was a former winner of the singles tournament, and Stacey could be the dark horse competitor of the whole tournament. If she can beat Dan Murrell, it will really set the tone for what's to come, and the winner of that match will play the winner of Ethan Irwin and Chance Ellison. So on to our play of the week, and that's going to be round number 2 for Who's the Boss. 6 for 6, 12 for 12 on points. Again, probably in recent memory, one of the best round 2s we've seen so far. Very impressive. They were vibing quite well. 3 1-point steals for Who's the Boss as well during the Harris Brothers round 2. An impressive victory for them. Kind of all got started because of that round number 2 and setting them up for victory, and again getting that knockout victory after round number 3. Very difficult to say a giant misplay this week. You could maybe go with the round 2 respin by the Harris Brothers, not deciding to go with new releases, but we're going to go with betting the 2 points on the round number 3 question. Had maybe they bet 0 or 1 point, they still would have been alive and had a chance to get back into it with the speed round. It would have been a very difficult speed round and very difficult for them to come back from, but maybe had that happen, could have changed the outcome of the thing. But again, just hard to really pinpoint a misplay this week. Just the dominance by Who's the Boss. Really, no team potentially could have stood a chance after that type of round. And our player of the week is going to be Ben Bateman. Back-to-back weeks, did great in the singles gauntlet, of course advancing to the singles tournament, and then doing great in the finals of the Anarchy team tournament. Showing up in round number 1, going 7 for 8, keeping his team afloat after Mark Reilly only going 3 for 8, and then of course continuing that dominance into round number 2 with Mark Reilly going toe-to-toe, and then coming together to get that final question correct in round number 3, the John Carpenter category, to get them the victory. Ben Bateman is on fire so far, and I would be worried if I was Clark Wolf going up against him in the next tournament. So that does it for this episode of Schmoedown Central. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more videos each week. Of course, let me know all your thoughts on the play, misplay, player of the week, and of course your predictions for next week. Love seeing those, and who you think's going to win this new singles tournament. It should be an exciting one. Is there a dark horse competitor? Can Stacey Howard, probably the presumed underdog, come against all odds and maybe win this thing? That would be pretty crazy, pretty monumental. There's a lot of tough competition in that tournament. So again, curious to hear all your thoughts on that, what you're breaking up for next week. And of course, just like, comment, subscribe, like I said. Follow me on Twitter at 94BradThomas or at Schmoedown Cent to keep up to date in the world of Schmoedown Central. It'll be great hearing from you there. And until next time, until next week, I will talk to you all next time on Schmoedown Central.